hand. So much to say about yesterday and the decades we have spanned. Postcards from the park, this journey will embark. See what has changed and what remains on Sent from Disneyland. Sent from Disneyland.
Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this podcast, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland, Disneyland history, and more, with mementos, snapshots, souvenirs, and postcards sent from Disneyland, from 1955 to the present. Let's start by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join in at any level to support the show and receive snail mail from my trips to Disneyland and from my desk, plus some sneak peeks and bonus content. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the rest of the e-ticket patrons, Tania, Eric Daniels, Monica Seitz Vega, Scott Cagle, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Angela Reynolds, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, and Ben and Noel Bruning, B-ticket patron Joshua Bell, and to the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Angel DeBlock, Daps Magic, and the Beyond the Railroad podcast. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has a couple riding on a horseless carriage in front of City Hall on Main Street, USA. On the back it reads, "Elegance of the gay 90s is seen at Disneyland, as carriages of the period enhance the mellow tones of yesteryear." It's postmarked August 21st, 1956, with the Bray cancel, but the postage stamp has been removed. I assume they visited the park on Monday, August 20th, 1956, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The weather was a high of 82 and a low of 60. Park attendance that day was 22,301. It's addressed to Kaw Valley State Bank of Eudora, Kansas. It reads, 8/21/56. Hi. I made it, and I think I will stay. Boy, do I ever like it. You can keep Kansas. Are you working really hard and keeping the old place going? We really are having a good time. We've been to Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland, and the beach. We're going back to the beach today, then to Pasadena tonight. There isn't enough time for all the things to do. Don't work too hard, and I'll see you soon, Martha. This week, we're letting last month's theme roll into this year's April Fool's Day episode. This episode will also pair well with the most recent Photo Nix episode I did with Mr. Daps, looking at photos of the original Disneyland parking lot. The parking lot originally used different letters for the sections of the lot. Looking at a map of my collection, these letters included A, B, C, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, R, U, V, W, Y, Z, and X. One entrance to the parking was through a roadway off of Harbor Boulevard that flowed down to a payment gate next to Catella Avenue in the M section. Another entrance was off of Catella Avenue between the Y and Z sections of the lot. The 3 auto exits were on West Street, 2 near the Disneyland Hotel, and 1 a little further down between the Disneyland Hotel and Catella Avenue in the W section. In 1986, they changed the letter system to a character system that is still used today. This is likely because it was easier to remember what character you parked in versus a letter assigned to each section. I'm not sure if the characters were chosen at random, but there are some odd coincidences. For instance, the A section was changed to Alice, the B section to Bambi, the F section to Flower, the J section to Jiminy Cricket, the M section to Minnie, and the W section to Winnie the Pooh. Though the rest of the characters, like Donald, Eeyore, King Louie, Kanga, Happy, Goofy, Mickey, Sleepy, Tinkerbell, Owl, Pinocchio, Thumper, and Robin Hood, do not match up with any of the letters in the original parking grid. It would have been easy to have flipped Happy and Kanga to match their respective letters, as well as moving Robin Hood over 2 sections and Donald 1 section as well. Parking ranged in price over the early days of being 25 cents per car, until 1967 when it doubled to 50 cents a car. In 1978 it doubled again to $1, and then doubled again in 1984 to $2, and continued to rise $1 or 2 until it was $7 at the end of its existence. $9 VIP parking was also available from 1994 to 1999. Add some flair to your mail by checking out stamps at Enfield Post. You can explore different stamp options on our Etsy site, grab some great deals by following the EP Sunday Sales on Instagram, or create something special and have her design a stamp array for your invitation or celebration. You can head over to EnfieldPost.com and explore all the different vintage postage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and EnfieldPost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has the omnibus, stopped in front of Town Square and the Main Street Railroad Station. In the back you can see City Hall and the Emporium, and if you look closely, you can see one of the horses from the horse-drawn streetcar. On the back it reads, Disneyland Omnibus. Disneyland's 5/8 scale double-decker omnibus carries hundreds of passengers daily on a fun-filled tour. Camera fans especially like the unique angles the omnibus second deck provides. It's postmarked June 16, 1968, with an Anaheim cancel and a 5-cent blue George Washington postage stamp, Scott number 1283. I assume they visited the park on Saturday, June 15, 1968, when park hours were from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. The weather was a high of 78 and a low of 57. It's addressed to Mrs. Hattie Maxon of Marble Rock, Iowa. It reads, Tuesday afternoon. Roy and I have spent a few hours at Disneyland and will go back later. The girls expect to stay until it closes. Roy talked to Paul and Attila, and we will go see them in the morning. Coming through the desert makes us appreciate having water. Love from all, Becky. One of the early complaints about the parking lot was how long it took to walk from your car to get to the main gate. This problem was solved by having a tram that would run through the parking lot, picking up guests in designated areas in each section. Now guests spend the entire day walking around what was the parking lot. We know from an Easter egg or a hidden Eeyore in the queue for Indiana Jones that the Eeyore part of the parking lot was removed in 1994 to make room for the Indiana Jones attraction and queue. The rest of the parking lot was fully removed in 1999. Let's start mapping out the old parking lot to what is there today. The original toll plaza is now the Candy Cane Inn and the Desert Palms Hotel. Next to there, the sleepy section is now mostly Carsland. Skipping to the other corner, Flower is now Downtown Disney and a little of the Grand Californian Hotel. Most of the hotel footprint is the King Louis section of the lot. Robin Hood, Winnie the Pooh, Pinocchio, and Thumper make up Pixar Pier and Paradise Bay. Going to the other corner, the Alice section of the lot is now the transportation hub on the east side of the resort. Although that will be changing in the next few years to include more Disney California Adventure Park with the addition of an Avatar Land. In the center, Jiminy Cricket makes up most of what is now Buena Vista Street, and the Donald section is the main entrance and some of Buena Vista Street until you get to the bridge with the monorail track. Finally, Happy is now Avengers Campus. It's hard to decipher the exact location as the parking lot maps were not to scale, which allowed guests to feel like they were not walking as far. The actual distance from the main gate to the farthest part of the parking lots would be about almost twice as long as it looks like on the map. By the numbers, the original parking lot had over 12,000 spaces. Now, Disneyland has about 17,000 spots between Mickey and Friends, Pixar, and the Toy Story lot. Both city populations that these postcards were sent to could easily fit in either the old or current parking lots. My incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is a craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern or 6 Pacific. Art Throwdown is a wonderful community of artists who love to share their craft, from creating sticker postcards and coloring techniques to intricate paper cutting and unique crafting. It's always a treat to watch a show and occasionally get some one-of-a-kind postcards from the group. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has a black and white cartoon dog sitting on a rust-colored corrugated tube with graffiti on it and a hole at the bottom half. On the back it reads, On the Doghouse, Milton Springsteen. It's postmarked March 7th, 2026, with a New Zealand cancel and a 550 Extinct Frogs of New Zealand postage stamp. It reads, 7 March 2026. Hello Clocky, I hope you're doing well and having a great day. I previously sent you a postcard via Post Crossing and included an old Disneyland postcard for you. I'm happy day out on Post Crossing. Well, recently I spotted these while I was out shopping again. Lol, and knew I couldn't leave them there since they were only 20 cents each. Hope they make a nice addition to your collection. You're more than welcome to talk about them on your podcast, share on Instagram, etc., etc. Same with the previous ones I sent you. Best wishes, Dot. Cheers. Thank you so much for the postcard, Dot. and the additional postcards in the envelope, and for remembering me almost 2 years after you sent your initial postcard. This was a nice surprise to get my mailbox this week. This postcard was also a great reminder to get ready to send some post-crossing postcards this weekend. I've been too busy to send anything this year. Also, I'm excited to see that the USPS will finally have its first post-crossing postage stamp. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment on whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Sent from Disneyland or my website, sentfromdisneyland.com. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent from Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney-related properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. This podcast is produced and edited by Clocky McDowell, website designed by Misty McDowell, theme song was written and performed by Noah Sunday Lefkowitz. Take it away, Noah.